Hello, everyone, and welcome to our FoxNews.com digital debate special, the Fox News Google Republican debate. I'm Melissa Francis, along with Kennedy, Charles Payne, Meghan McCain, and Tom Shalhoub. Well, the gloves came off during tonight's GOP debate, the final one before the Iowa caucuses just 4 days away. Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Ben Carson, Jeb Bush, Chris Christie, John Kasich, and Rand Paul came out swinging in Des Moines. So who dominated the big showdown? Here's a look at some of the sparks from tonight's face-off.
Hillary Clinton this week said Barack Obama would make a great Supreme Court justice. The guy who systematically and habitually violates the Constitution on the Supreme Court? I don't think so.
I'm an establishment because my dad, the greatest man alive, was president of the United States, and my brother, who I adore as well, is a fantastic brother, was president. Fine, I'll take it. And I guess I'm part of the establishment because Barbara Bush is my mom. I'll take that, too.
Barack Obama was never responsible for those decisions. Hillary Clinton has never been responsible for those kind of decisions where they were held accountable. I've been held accountable for 6 years as the governor of New Jersey, and with the Democratic legislature, I've gotten conservative things done.
I had a national reporter say, you know, there's three lanes. There's the establishment lane, the anti-establishment lane, and then there's the Kasich lane. And the reason is that I've been a reformer all of my career.
I will apologize to nobody for the vigorousness with which I will fight terrorism, go after ISIS, hunt them down wherever they are, and utterly and completely destroy ISIS.
I've had more 2 a.m. phone calls than everybody here put together, making life and death decisions.
Drug use is about equal between white and black, but our prisons, 3 out of 4 people in prison are black or brown. I think something has to change. I think it's a big thing that our party needs to be part of.
All right, there you go. Kennedy, Chris Christie, governors are the only ones who work for a living.
Yeah.
He brings that up every single time.
No, he really does. It's interesting because he sits back and he waits for 2 of the 3 senators to have a skirmish. Tonight it was a gift because all 3 got into the scrum.
Right.
And he was waiting to turn to the audience and say, folks, let me just tell you, I don't speak Washington.
Right.
And his gimmicks are getting a little bit old. And, you know, it's not necessarily the case that governors have the best chance of being the ultimate executive in this race.
Also, like the 12th time you hear that point, you just want to shoot someone.
You realize that we're in our 7th debate.
That's right. There you go. What did you like there?
It felt like they did, each of them tried to carve out a lane or a certain pitch, right? Rubio, obviously, for the evangelicals, he really talked about faith. It was an disclosing thing.
Yeah.
He brought it up over and over again. Cruz, I think he had a great opportunity, and he did clarify his position on ethanol in front of the governor.
Right.
I thought he did good. I mean, remember, this is for Iowa. And I think he was, I thought his answer was pretty good there. Bush trying to get some conservative credit. Ben Carson, same thing, anti-PC. Christie, prosecute. He brought that up over and over again. Not just with Hillary, but I guess the overall notion that this is becoming a lawless nation, borders and things like that. So I felt like they all kind of, and then Kasich, the compassionate conservative, or as he put it, the Kasich lane. It was popular a few years ago, by 4 or 5 election cycles. Maybe he thinks it's still worthwhile.
I like that Jeb brought his mom up. I mean, why not? Everybody loves her.
You can't go wrong bringing up mom.
No.
I loved it. I think he's finally owning his legacy. He's owning the fact that he's the establishment candidate. This is the strongest night I've ever seen Jeb. It's the first time I've actually liked him as a candidate ever. So Trump being gone obviously helped him. I thought Rubio did an incredible job. And I actually thought Rand Paul came back swinging tonight.
Yeah.
Would you run for office?
Me?
Yeah.
Never. There's too many dirty pictures of me on the internet.
Oh, my
Crazy
goodness.
things.
Well, I know what I'm doing
it's
tonight.
G-rated, but I grew up in the internet era. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, I actually feel bad for anybody right now. At some point, all our presidents are going to have weird pictures on the internet.
That's true, and it'll be the normal thing to do.
Exactly.
Before we get to the
Every
elephant that wasn't
president
in
of
the
Canada
room,
will have a Belfie in 10 years.
what did you think in general?
I thought it was, nobody came out and did anything radical, which I was looking for somebody to come out of the gate and redefine themselves. Maybe Jeb a little bit, because he was a little bit better than usual, but nobody rocked my world.
Yeah.
It's good to know we can call Ben Carson at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I thought that
I'm
Rand
so
Paul
sick
had
of
a great night. I agree with Megan. I thought Rand Paul did very, very well.
Yeah.
He actually seemed calm and composed in a way that he hasn't in some of the past debates. And he did a good job of explaining fairly libertarian concepts in a palatable way, including criminal justice reform. And he's right to point out that black and white drug use is essentially the same. So the question remains, then why is there such an overwhelmingly high incarceration rate of African Americans in this country? He's one of the few Republicans who's actually talking about that authentically. He also pointed out, was it Ted's authenticity problem?
Yeah. A couple of people brought that up. But what do you think about his answer on abortion? Because it felt like he wanted to have it both ways.
He did want to have it both ways.
That was a little interesting.
Before we get to that, let's address the elephant that wasn't in the room, as Megyn Kelly said at the top, and how everyone handled Trump. Listen.
I'm a maniac, and everyone on this stage is stupid, fat, and ugly. And Ben, you're a terrible surgeon. Now that we've gotten the Donald Trump portion out of the way.
Chris, let's begin by being clear what this campaign is about. It's not about Donald Trump. He's an entertaining guy. He's the greatest show on earth. This campaign is about the greatest country in the world and a president who has systematically destroyed many of the things that made America special.
I kind of miss Donald Trump. He was a little teddy bear to me. We always had such a loving relationship during these debates and in between and the tweets. I kind of miss him. I wish he was here. Everybody else was in the witness protection program when I went after him on behalf of what the Republican cause should be. Conservative principles, believing in limited government, believing in accountability.
So there you go. I mean, but that was kind of it. I mean, they all had their little joke that they'd sort of prearranged about Trump. And then you didn't really hear about him again, right?
No, you didn't at all. It was interesting because I think Jeb was emboldened by two things. One, the absence of Trump, which allowed him to still talk about him without getting the devastating counterpunch. Right. But also, I think the National Review issue kind of gave these candidates pause and the ability to sit down and read some criticism of Trump from a journalistic perspective.
Although I think it was after the one of these online personalities, whatever, asked the question, Bush did come back. It was a Muslim question, and he took that as an opportunity to attack Donald Trump. But I thought it was interesting, I think Trump's idea of barring all Muslims. He obviously said it was too broad, but then he segued into he's wrong on Hispanics, disabled, women, and he got a fairly nice applause on that in that room.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting.